On this show, we cover some sensitive topics.
Though the obituaries may be outlandish, the people are real.
Names have been changed or omitted in order to respect both the deceased and the survived by.
While death is no laughing matter, some petty last words can provide some pretty entertaining comic relief.
Welcome to Obituary. Welcome back to Obituary. I'm Spencer Henry.
And I'm Madison Reyes.
And it's a Thursday.
It is a Thursday, honey. Hold on.
Hold on. Let us collect ourselves.
Yes.
Let me pull up my notes, my agenda for the day.
Okay.
Yes, so much to talk about.
We really do.
I just got back from Texas.
You did? How was it?
It was lovely. I never leave Texas like, oh, get me out of here.
Never.
I'm always like, love it.
Love.
Have so much fun. Which, if you're from Texas, it's probably definitely one of those things where it's I want to leave because we get that. I feel that about my hometown. I'm like, I love my hometown for what it is and what it gave me.
I feel the same way. I know.
But I don't need to be there.
I don't want to go to the grocery store and like see people.
Every time when I go home for the holidays, like I feel like going to a Target or something.
You see people?
Yeah. If it's someone who listens to us, love that.
Oh, well, that's so different
Love
than
that.
like going to high school with someone.
Yeah. Or them being like, what are you doing now?
Yeah.
And it's like, girl, I don't know.
Girl, I'm an entertainment girl.
I'm a star.
Yeah.
I'm in the world. Ever heard of radio?
I was just about to say that. I was going to say, I'm on the radio.
I'm on the radio. And then they look us up and it pulls up YouTube and that's the first thing. And they're like, really? Because 100 people watch this.
Wait.
100 people watch this.
No, wait. I have to tell you something. I was looking through our emails and the subject line said Spencer, the author. And I was like,
that's me.
I gotta look at this.
Oh, she was actually full of
What about
rage.
me? Okay. And it was from Slime Master.
Hi, Slime Master. That's my secret account.
That you emailed to us. Okay. And I love this board game. It's not a board game, but this game. So it says, do you guys know the game Categories? And I absolutely know the game Categories. We would always play it at holidays.
Uh-huh.
You have a list of categories and a random letter. Then you got to fill out the whole list of categories with that letter. Well, one of the categories was author and the letter was S. So I put Spencer Henry.
That feels official to be part of a category game round.
Crazy.
I love that.
That's so cool because you know the other, like after it happens, you know, you're reading like, okay, who's this author? Who is this? It's Spencer Henry. He wrote The Big Hot Book of Death, Mom.
Hello,
you know?
Mom. Do you know Uncle
Or Aunt Diane? Like,
you
come
know?
on. Yeah.
Aren't you with it?
Come on. It was a New York Times bestseller.
Haven't you heard?
For 1 week. Okay.
They couldn't get us off the chart that week. The whole week long. Should have printed that or something. Should have printed that sucker out.
I know.
That's one thing. When it came out, we were like, oh my God, we should buy a newspaper. And they're like, yeah, they only put the first 5 for every category. And you guys were number 11. We were like, oh.
Okay, so what do we do?
I will not.
We had a whole day planned.
Yeah,
we're going to go to Larchmont.
Yeah, where there's a cute newspaper stand. And we're gonna just do that.
Imagine.
If we would have gone and opened it. Where are we?
Telling everybody to on the way.
And this isn't an ego thing. This is a delusional thing because we really, truly, when I know people say all the time, like, I never thought. We did not fucking think
we
were
never
gonna
thought.
be on that list.
Yeah.
And girl, sure enough, we were. And that's why we won't stop talking about it. It's the only thing that's ever happened to us.
Okay, let us have our accolades.
God.
Honey.
Damn. But overall, Texas was a great time. It was
Good.
The wedding was awesome, which is so rare for me to say. We know I don't love a wedding.
It looked so fun.
So fun. The husband's a musician, and so he was fucking shredding.
While she was walking down the aisle, he was shredding, and it was so cool looking.
It was so fun. Her family's from Houston. His family's all from Austin. And so it was just like a really fun mix of people. And we were on this ranch all weekend. We stayed where the wedding was. And so, because it had a bunch of like little tiny houses on it. And the champ and I were in one. And it was so fun. There was like a mule there, donkeys, there was chickens. And it was just so
I love
cool.
that. That is so cool.
I loved it. And yeah, always happy to be there. But I will say it was humid as fuck.
Yeah.
And so it did feel nice, like coming home the next morning when we got up to walk the dogs. We were like, okay, this is nice.
I was talking about this, like dry heat is such a different story than a humid
Dry heat, turn it all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
It depends what you have to do, though. Like day to day and humidity, I just have a hard time with because I feel like you're sweating or like walking out of a gym or something. Imagine walking out of a gym and then you're just like,
yeah.
Which I'm sure a lot of you probably live in humid areas. We just don't get a lot of humidity here. We're not used to it.
I know.
But it's something that I could get used to.
Humid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that over gray.
1
Hot and
million billion.
Hot and humid
%.
over gray.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I was supposed to go to Texas, and I can't because I don't have the real ID.
She didn't get her real ID in time,
a whole
folks.
plane ticket, and it's just a whole fucking thing.
Damn.
I know. But I wanted to talk to you.
Okay, I'm nervous. What do you want to?
No, don't be nervous.
What do you want to tell me, girl?
Well,
this is a breakup.
No. Well, we have to talk about my sister, okay? But I have to tell you something first.
Okay.
She called me while I was on the way here. And by the time this comes out, the giveaway will be closed for the MacBook Air.
Uh-huh.
Guess what she asked?
What?
She said, hey, can I enter the giveaway? And I was laughing. I said, what? She's like, well, I'd love a chance and I listen. And I said, what? And I said, okay, well, did you subscribe to our YouTube channel? And she said, no. And I said, well, there you go. And she said, but I have till May 5th.
We'll give her a MacBook. We'll get her a MacBook. We're gonna get her a MacBook. Actually, we should get her a MacBook and like a big winner sign and show up at her house like, you won the giveaway.
You won the giveaway.
Let me tell you guys this. So we're in a group text with Madison's sister. And like her and I love some of the same music and stuff. So like we'll like send things back and forth. We all love the same things. And I love
We
her
love
sister
her
to death.
so much, yes.
I truly think of her like family. But she's also like
a boomer.
a boomer sometimes. She sent us an Instagram reel, first of all.
She gets tricked by AI.
She sent us an Instagram reel and said, material for an episode? And I looked at it, and already I'm seeing AI version of Scooby-Doo. And it says, the real life Scooby-Doo. And I clicked on it.
Real life Scooby-Doo, and it was pretty disturbing. In 1961, a traveling mystery solving group called the Scoobers.
I called Madison and I said, Doll's getting tricked by AI again. She thinks there's a real Scooby-Doo called the Dooby Scoobers.
So today's coffin spinner, we're going to dive into the Dooby Scoobers.
We're going to dive into the Doober Scoobers and talk about this real life mystery gang that was running around. It wasn't Velma. It was Elma and
and
who are the other people?
And Haggy
and Ruby Boo.
How gagged did you have been if when we chose winners,
Doll won?
It popped up
like her YouTube page. I'd scream.
God.
No, we're not giving. We would not do that.
No, I feel like that's against the law or something.
Like, I feel like that's breaking a rule.
That's crazy.
It would make us some real assholes.
Oh, good segue.
And speaking of, this first one says, would I be the asshole if I tell my partner that I think it's a bad idea for her to get a tattoo in memory of her recently deceased ex?
Okay.
Last week, my male 34 partner female 28, ex, his partner's ex, died in a motorcycle accident. We have been together for 3 years currently. They were together for 5 years from when she was 13 to when she was 18. She has been mourning him for the last few days, and I respect that. I would also be sad if one of my exes died. She has already put a sticker on her car in his memory, and I think that's nice. But this morning she told me she was considering getting a tattoo in his memory, and I understand that it could be a nice gesture to remember him by, and it's her body, her choice, ultimately. But I know that every time I see her naked and see the tattoo, I'd think of her ex, which definitely isn't ideal. I told her I think it's a good idea to think about it for a while, and if she still thinks it's a good idea, she must do it. And maybe this is selfish, but I really think it's a horrible idea. Am I the asshole? Would I be the asshole? They have not been in contact for 9 years. He married someone else, and I really don't believe she still has romantic feelings for him. We've talked in great detail about all of our exes. She was definitely over him.
Plot twist. I didn't know it was 9 years,
honey.
I mean, this person writing sounds very sweet, and I don't think
he doesn't
an
sound
asshole.
like some fucking alpha male that's like, listen, no, my lady's not going to have another dude on it. Like, nothing like that. It just seems like maybe think about it.
I understand a sticker on a car. Okay.
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole.
No. Okay, well, this one says, am I the asshole for naming my daughter after my late grandma?
An asshole.
No, that's not it. But I was texting with my sister's friend group the other day. Or we were on FaceTime. I was on FaceTime with all of the originals last night, and one of them's pregnant and we found out she's having a girl with her second, and she had a boy the first time around Leo's age, and now she's having a girl.
Oh.
And so she FaceTimed us all last night, but we were laughing because they were talking about how to make the announcement, and what someone was like, she was also simultaneously talking about her grandma just passed away, and she's like, someone said, shoot her out of a cannon with pink or blue confetti, shoot her ashes out with a pink or blue confetti. And then I was reminded of my favorite tweet of all time that says, showing off my new baby, we named her after my grandmother, her name is Grandma. It's
love that.
My favorite tweet ever. So this just made me think of it.
Her name is Grandma. That's so good. That's think of name your kid something that you love, and it's I love you, Real Housewives.
Yeah. Okay, am I the asshole for naming my daughter after my late grandma when my sister wanted to as well?
Oh, ooh.
My sister, 30, and I, 28, are not very close, and we had a rough childhood together. From the age of 7 to 12, I lived with my grandma because my sister had, it says odd, oppositional defiant disorder and a conduct disorder. This made her violent, and she was regularly violent toward me to the point where our parents decided to keep me safe while she was getting help. It would be better for everyone if I lived with my grandma.
Damn.
I bonded deeply with my grandma in the years I lived with her, and I didn't want to go home when I did. But my sister was stable enough by then for me to live with her and my parents again. Our relationship never got better from that point. We learned to be civil, but there's no love lost between us. There were some tensions when Grandma died because she left me a few special treasures. My sister was hurt that she didn't get them as the oldest. She did get her own inheritance, but she felt like I stole Grandma from her in the years I lived with her. I told her if I stole Grandma from her, it was because she stole our parents from me. Damn. My sister said I should have been sent somewhere else, with someone who didn't matter. It was drama, and I stepped back and didn't engage afterward. I didn't invite my sister to my wedding, but I still see her for certain holidays and gatherings with family. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I told the family my husband and I had decided to name her after Grandma. So we named her Grandma. My sister told me I couldn't use Grandma's name because she wanted to use it for a future daughter. She told me I didn't get to have the name too. Someone else said that nobody could claim a name and there was no reason we both couldn't use it. I had my daughter. I used the name.
Good.
My sister is furious and she's raising so many problems. Our parents are asking why I didn't just find a different name and let her use it. They said after all she's been through and all the stuff with the inheritance, I should be more understanding. It annoyed me. My husband couldn't believe my parents would side with my sister on this, but it's making me want to ask, as exhausting as this whole thing is, am I the asshole?
No.
No, girl. We're only hearing it from this person's point of view, and I understand that, but...
Yeah, but it's a name.
But you were sent to live with her because of your sister. And it's obviously stuff that was out of your sister's control as well. But like, she is essentially the reason that you had to go live with your grandma and you didn't get to live in your home with your parents.
Yeah.
And so it makes way more sense for you.
It's also something like with family names. Like, I love a family name. I love repeating a name, love all of that. That's a lot different to me than, okay, some obscure name that this sister had and now you're stealing it or whatever. Like, a family name is meant to be repeated. I know it's not ideal that two cousins are named the same thing, but it is what it is.
Fully.
Yeah.
Not the asshole, no.
Not the asshole. Well, wait a second.
Huh?
I have a dick for you.
Ooh, can I see it?
We've got assholes and I have a dick.
Let's see it. Well,
okay.
Let's hear it.
I don't have a listener email. I guess I kind of had a listener email, that little one, but I stumbled upon this article and the name, I was like, surely I'm getting tricked by AI. Did you see this? It's like going around. It's in the news right now. There's a funeral mogul who is going through a bunch of shit with a billboard and a homeowners association and this like whole lawsuit.
No.
And his real name is Richard Tips. So Dick Tips.
If I had a podcast and my name was Richard, I'd call it Dick Tips.
I love that. Okay, this is just from Express News from their Instagram because I can't access their website because I'm not signed in, I guess. But this is Dick Tips. I'll show you a picture. Looks like a nice guy.
Yeah.
It says funeral home mogul Robert Dick Tips is taking a San Antonio Homeowners Association to court over its removal of a billboard from property he owns. Tips, chairman and CEO of Mission Park Funeral Chapels and Cemeteries, alleges one or more persons believed to have been acting on behalf or in conspiracy with the Coronado Enclave Homeowners Association went on his property and unlawfully removed the sign. While Tips doesn't know who trespassed to remove the billboard, he says the association and one of the 5 individual defendants are likely to have knowledge about what happened to it. So, if you're wondering, it doesn't really have much to do with the funeral home.
I'd like you guys to know, Madison just spent 20 minutes trying to... We're going to have to cut 20-something minutes out of this episode of her trying to find...
He's a funeral mogul named Dick Tips, and that's the punchline. Okay, everybody?
Well, I hear your Dick Tips, and I raise you a gutter man.
Whoa.
You're up first this week.
Which means you should have a little side bitch,
you know that? Okay. I do. And this is from Commercial Express, Bangor, Maine,
Ooh.
October 14th, 1907.
Okay.
And this is the obituary for Joseph Gutterman.
Okay.
Joseph Gutterman smoked an average of 35 cigarettes a day after he had become a centenarian, but lived to be 117 years of age.
Wow.
He died Saturday in Texas. A birth certificate in Saxony proved his stated age to be correct. Gutterman drank whiskey till he was more than 90 years old. Then he found it did not agree with him and stopped. He was married 3 times and was the father of 27 children.
You know what? I'm going to light up a cigarette and start fucking...
After working 20 years as a jeweler in New York, Gutterman served throughout the Civil War in the 17th Pennsylvania Volunteers and then became rich by dealing in Illinois land. Coming to Texas, he lived there 25 years, and the headline said, "Cigarette smoker dies at 117 years old."
Good for him. God.
Good for him. Ripping darts till the very end.
You know, we will find that one article, that one obituary.
That is confirmation
bias.
Okay?
Okay. Ready? I'm going to need to light one up.
Give me a cigarette.
Oh, God. 117, honey.
God. You know what? Everyone fucking lived. It's because they're poisoning our food now. But everyone...
A cigarette's not going to help.
No, but everyone lived. People lived long lives. Okay?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. Think of it like my great-grandma. She was in her 90s. She was probably fucking ripping darts, eating chocolate donuts and Dr. Pepper. Like,
my great-grandma was 107.
Yeah. Please.
It's
luck of the draw.
I
can have an aneurysm at 30. One time I knew someone and their cousin died of an aneurysm in the gym, and they were like in their 20s, healthy
great
as
shape.
can be,
I
great
know.
shape. That's why I'm drinking a Diet Coke, and that's why...
Well, you're not.
That's why I switched to Spindrift, the healthier
Yeah.
say that, I like won't take Tylenol anymore. I'm like, I need a homeopathic.
Oh, please.
You should see my Sprouts haul. I just got it. Fucking garlic pills. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, please.
Okay, wait. We have to take a break.
Oh, okay.
We're going to take a break. Bye.
Bye.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Madison's going to tell us what had her spinning in her coffin this
and
week.
You guys are going to love it.
We'll be right back. And we're back. What had you spinning in your coffin this week, Madison?
Well, Feng Shui had me spinning in my coffin this week.
Love a little Feng Shui.
I know. I truly can't believe that we have not talked about this ever on the show. And it.
Well, I can. Why would we talk about? Well, you'll probably tell us why.
I'll tell you why, actually, because it does. It goes hand in hand, surprisingly, with the funeral industry and death.
It makes sense because in the Victorian days, they always talked about draping mirrors when someone died and stuff. And I feel like that's such a thing. Like, don't have mirrors at the end of your bed.
Yeah, there's like some superstition stuff.
Yeah, we did a superstitions episode.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me get into it. Feng Shui, if you guys don't know, literally translates to wind water. So wind and water. It's an ancient Chinese philosophy. Oh, thank you. Ooh. It's an ancient Chinese philosophy that is over 3,000 years old. And basically, it's all about harmony between humans and your environment.
Okay.
When I was researching this, I noticed that it was referred as a lot as Chinese geomancy. And I thought, geomancy? I'm like, that sounds cool. Like,
Geomancy?
is it geomancy? Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but I'm like, is it necromancy's like cousin or something?
Yeah. Are they related?
Well, no, but kind of. The Oxford Dictionary explains it as, quote, divination from configurations seen in a handful of earth thrown on the ground or by interpreting lines or textures on the ground.
Okay.
So it's not inherently magic or anything, but it does involve pattern reading, energy flow, and using the earth and like the natural world as a guide.
Got it.
It's a little woo-woo, but I absolutely love it. Like, I wholeheartedly believe in like the flow of things.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
It can affect.
We've talked about it. Like, I don't like having things everywhere. Like,
yeah. So with Feng Shui, there's 5 different elements. And I was thinking about it this week when I was writing this because Feng Shui uses 5 different elements. So there's wood, there's fire, there's earth, metal, and water.
Okay.
And all of those should be balanced in a space. So like, if something feels off, maybe you need to balance a certain element.
Got it.
And I was like looking at my office at the new house, like I haven't hung curtains or like really unpacked. And I was like, it feels like there's so much wood in here right now. Like I do need to balance it.
She needs a water feature. She needs a water feature.
That is it. You hit it on the head.
I'll get you a little fountain for your desk.
Perfect. Why
a little
not?
babbling brook.
Or like sometimes, I don't know, in a space you're like, God, this kind of needs a plant or something.
Yeah.
You know, like, or some greenery or whatever.
Well, the champ makes fun of me because, like, when we moved in, he's like, it feels like a model home because there's like nothing. I want nothing anywhere.
That's how I like it.
We've learned to compromise.
Yeah.
And so, like, but I do now. I love. I'm like, okay, I bought 2 plants myself.
Yeah.
They're gonna die by the time this goes out, but I bought them.
No, it looks so good. But I get that. I know. I mean, we've talked about it. You gotta compromise.
Gotta
if it were
compromise.
up to us, it would be.
I'd be a padded room.
Yeah. It probably should be, honestly, sometimes. But a lot of Feng Shui is rooted in Taoist philosophy, which emphasizes yin and yang and harmony with the elements. But obviously, Taoism is a much broader concept and religion. And
yeah.
You know, my sister had her house Feng Shui. Duh.
Oh, did you, like, professionally Feng Shui?
Professionally Feng Shui.
Ooh.
It was like a house like 20 years ago.
Okay.
But I remember I was like in high school and she was having to put like certain things in certain corners and whatever. But hey, I think I'm
all about a space feeling calm
Yeah.
and good. Yeah.
Totally. And Feng Shui, at least like as Americans kind of interpret it, I guess. And I'm being so general about feng shui. Like, I don't want to be disrespectful at all, but I do feel like when we talk about it, like we're boiling it down to like put 7 lemons in a bowl, and you know what I mean?
Or don't put a mirror at the end of the bed. Yeah. Like that.
But obviously there's so much more to it.
You mean you don't have every single thing about feng shui memorized in a week?
You know what? I don't. I failed.
Hold her accountable, ladies and gents.
I failed this week. God. But feng shui is also about arranging corpses.
Tell me more.
Okay, so Spencer, the earliest form of feng shui is known as the form branch or the yin house feng shui.
Okay.
And this form had one job. It was to figure out the best orientation of certain buildings, most importantly, tombs.
Oh.
Yes. So this was so important because you had better bury someone so their spirit could rest. Because if a person's spirit didn't rest, then their descendants
would be haunted?
Yes. So according to these beliefs, when your ancestors are resting in like a harmonious spot in a harmonious way, for example, between a mountain and a stream, and we'll get into that more, the spirit is peaceful. And when their spirit is at rest, that means that their loved ones are blessed. So there's good luck, good grades, good marriages. Like,
so you don't want to put them in the cemetery off the freeway.
No, you need to take care and like make sure that they're in a really good spot. The opposite can occur if your deceased loved one, for example, is maybe facing the wrong way or under a tree. This could bring bad luck to the living.
That tree would have been peaceful.
No, we'll get into it. So actually, let's get into it now. The grave formula. You got to get it right.
Okay.
There's a tradition that feng shui uses for like the grave setup, and they use something called the 4 celestial animals system, and sometimes they're referred to as like the 4 gods, and there's a bunch of different ones, but this is what it boils down to in layman's terms, I guess. You have a black tortoise, number 1.
Okay.
So the black tortoise could be a hill behind you. You want a black tortoise behind you. So you want
some representation of a black tortoise.
They call it the black tortoise, but it means like something supporting you in the back. So you want to be buried with like a hill behind you.
Okay.
This will make more sense as I explain a little bit more. Then you have the green dragon. You want the green dragon to your left. So you want a ridge or something that represents growth and like has a masculinity to it.
Okay.
Then to the right of you, you want the white tiger. Something balanced, something kind of a feminine energy. And then lastly, the red phoenix is in front. So this could be like an open, sunny area that symbolizes opportunity in the future.
Got it.
This is going to make a little more sense the more I explain it. So just bear with me, you guys.
We're bearing.
I have some examples that I'll post of graves that have like great feng shui, and they almost look like recliners or something. Like I'm telling you, it's like, you know, like hills behind, and then, but if there isn't hills, then they kind of do that with pitch. They kind of do that with the headstone.
Okay.
I'll post pictures so it makes so much sense once you see the pictures.
Got it.
There's back supports, there's armrests, and hopefully they're facing somewhere great.
Okay.
Again, facing a body of water can bring like really good energy as well.
Okay,
but sometimes you can't always have the, you know, perfect feng shui grave, or the land around a grave doesn't always cooperate. So you have your recliner, maybe. But even with that, there are a ton of do's and don'ts that can like really make or break the final vibe. So the tomb should be facing south, in a south direction, although this still depends on the family and the land and even the birthday of the deceased.
Oh.
I guess like a feng shui master literally will whip out like a compass and start calculating things.
I want this.
I know. Also, they'll calculate what day the funeral should be on. Which I feel like we might have touched on that briefly.
I don't know, but we could just start a business where we just make it up. We just show up with a compass and stuff, and we're like, they should be buried. Do the funeral this day.
That is true.
I Forget that true. We'll delete this episode if we do that.
Yeah. Don't hold us accountable, please. Do obviously keep the burial site clean and tidy and undisturbed, and do try to choose a sunny spot. Don't bury a loved one under a tree because the roots can disturb a coffin, and there are some beliefs that energetically a tree can trap a spirit. You never know. Don't place a gravestone at like a T intersection or pointing directly at a road. And you know what? I remember my sister saying this. She would always point out a house in her neighborhood that like it was this long road and then there was a T, like a street there, and it was right in the middle of that road. And she always would say like, that's bad feng shui.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just picture a car just driving straight into it.
Well, maybe
Bad
that
feng
could
shui.
be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of practical things that I'll get into with feng shui, but also some, like fun woo-woo stuff. Don't point a coffin or an urn directly west, because in some traditions, west can represent death and endings, which, yes, that is what's happening, but like you don't want to emphasize that, right? And then don't let any water drain away from the grave or have water running through the grave, but looking at a body of water is good.
Okay.
I was reading about Cypress Lawn Cemetery in the Bay Area, and they have a whole...
Where is it?
Colma?
Yeah.
Okay. They have a whole feng shui section on their website, and they explained that, quote, on a very practical level, Chinese families wanted to make sure the burial location was sheltered from storms, floods, and heat. The mathematics, geology, and astronomy elements of feng shui helped them do that. On another level, the Chinese believed the location of the grave was important in order to create a positive energy flow that would impact the surviving family members. For a political leader, the consequences of an improper burial could impact the fate of the whole country.
Jeez.
It's really important stuff. But feng shui was not just used in the design of the tomb, it says, but also in determining the time, place, and orientation of the burial of the deceased. For instance, the higher the grave, the better. In China, the deceased is also usually carried out of the room they passed away in, feet first. Some Chinese families who live in the Bay Area and even some Westerners choose to incorporate principles of feng shui into their daily life, as well as in the funerals they plan for their loved ones.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, but moving on. A big thing to remember is if a burial place is working, don't mess with it, right? If a family of the deceased is thriving and things are going well, just let it be. But if things need to be rebalanced or something isn't working, then you hire somebody called a bone collector.
Ooh.
Okay.
Bone collector. Isn't that the name of like a book or movie?
Yeah,
or
but this is a real occupation.
What do they do?
Well, in many traditional Chinese communities, families will return to the grave after 5 to 7 years, open it back up, and then perform a second burial.
Oh.
This is called bone collecting. It's this like sacred practice that's all about restoring the balance and respecting the dead and sometimes like correcting any misalignment.
I would love to do that.
It's very cool. So a bone collector who is a trained specialist will exhume a body and gently wash and dry the bones. And then the skull is usually placed on top. The long bones are arranged carefully below, usually in an urn.
Okay.
So they actually dig them up and put them in an urn. Then the urn is moved to a better feng shui location. But I was reading this article on Atlas Obscura that interviewed a feng shui master named Jiang Bo. And this is a fascinating read. I'll absolutely link it. But he not only goes to people's homes and consults with feng shui that way, but I guess he goes to tombs a ton. It's a super normal practice in his line of work. But they asked him all about bone collecting, and he gave some incredible insight. He said, quote, "In Taoism, we believe there are 3 souls. One is in the underworld, one stays in the ancestral tablet at home, the other lies with the bones. If the bones are uncomfortable, the ancestor will tell their descendants by putting a curse on them.
Oh my
They
God.
will have bad luck."
Damn.
Okay, but
I gotta go move some bones around.
Honey, I know.
My family's all cremated. What do I do?
Yeah, honey, I don't know. I didn't get that far. But he goes on to say, quote, after a person dies, their body will decompose in about 5 to 6 years. In the north of Taiwan, we collect bones at around year 6. In the south, it's about years 7 to 8. You cannot collect the bones in year 9 because the word 9 in Taiwanese sounds like the word for dog.
Oh.
After year 10, most of the bones would have disintegrated already.
What?
Well, the years depend on locations and climate and like all that stuff, so we don't know.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, first you have to clean the bones, but you don't wash them directly with water. You use a toothbrush or a brush. Then at around 4 to 5 p.m., when the sun isn't that strong, you'll take the bones out to dry. You wrap the joints, fingers, and toes in a red cloth so they don't fall apart. Afterwards, you put the bones in the urn. You need to put them in a sitting position. You put the thigh bones first, one on each side. Make sure not to cross them. Then you put the rest of the bones and then the head on the very top. Finally, you'll add some charcoal. Charcoal helps absorb water so the bones won't get wet.
Huh.
And he even goes on to explain that, like, if the loved one's headstone has a crack in it, maybe the family member that's alive, like the family that's alive, is getting headaches. Or if there's something, like, it's all connected.
You don't need Tylenol. You need to go to the graveyard, dig up daddy's bones, and see what's going on in that noggin.
Or maybe at least fix the headstone.
Yup.
He also talks about a person being buried like next to a pond. And he went to go exhume the bones, and the person was not, he didn't go through all the decomposition yet. Like, it wasn't enough time because he was next to a pond.
So it kept moisture.
And he said in this article, he's like, I puked when I saw it because it looked like tofu. Like, his skin looked like tofu. And then I thought of Lady Di, who kind of looked like tofu.
Damn.
I know. But he also explained that if stuff like this does happen, they throw cabbage, rice wine, and banana peels into the coffin.
Yum, let me in there.
Yummy.
Don't let us there with the spoon.
I know. And tofu. I love it. Yummy. But they close it back up and then they come back. Oh, and they also put an amulet in there. And then they come back in like 6 months and it should be decomposed.
There you go.
But there you have it. There's a little
That's
very
so cool.
Basic Feng Shui.
I'll never think of Feng Shui the same again.
Neither will I. I just love the concept so much, actually, and I feel like it gives families maybe a second shot at good energy. And
we got to have someone come Feng Shui our houses.
We should. Why not?
Why not?
But
they'll do it, and we'll be like,
girl, what the fuck was she thinking? Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Girl, put that down. Oh my God, I love that so much. Thank you for that.
You know what? You're welcome. And I hope that you guys learned that death is all about placement and arrangements of all kinds. Truly matter.
Especially the edible kinds. We love an edible arrangement.
Oh, yummy, yummy.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break and rearrange my house. And when we come back, Madison's going to tell us, nope, she already did. I'm going to tell you what had me spinning in my coffin this week. We'll be right back.
And we're back, Spencer. What had you spinning in your coffin this week?
Well, Madison, someone had me spinning in my coffin this week. One of the most incredible parts of doing the show, I think we both can agree, is learning about the amazing stories of certain individuals who just restore our faith in humanity.
Okay, yes, absolutely.
Today, I chose to talk about a woman who embodies just that, and her name is Ruth.
Madison?
Her name is Madison Reyes. A real pioneer. No, her name is Ruth Coker Burks, and her nickname is the Cemetery Angel.
What? A cemetery angel?
Her story is incredible, and she's kind of an unlikely hero, just like a woman who stepped up to do good for no other reason than just purely helping people.
Okay.
So this came to me while I was mindlessly scrolling Instagram. I had my 5 minutes the other day, and I saw this post about Ruth, and it led me on a deep dive, learning about her life, her contributions, and it's just a rad story overall.
Cool.
So essentially, from what I've gathered, by the time Ruth was 25, she was a single mom in Arkansas and had worked a plethora of different jobs, just trying to make it, just trying to get by. And she had a pretty tumultuous childhood from what I've read. But at this point, she's 25, it is 1984, and she goes to a hospital in Little Rock, Arkansas to visit one of her friends who was unfortunately going through cancer treatment at the time. And as she made her way through the hospital corridor on one of these visits, she noticed that one of the doors at the hospital was red. And according to her website, Ruth stated that outside of the door, she saw nurses literally drawing straws to determine who had to go in and deal with that specific patient. It wasn't because this patient was notoriously difficult or anything like that or rude to nurses. It was because the person that was on the other side of that red door had fallen victim to the AIDS epidemic, which at that point in time was at an all-time high.
And there was not a lot known.
Yeah. It was just, we were all just very ignorant to what it was like. And that's why I think, you know, I can remember like Princess Diana going and shaking the hands of an AIDS patient, like just, and what a major deal that was at the time. And it's because everyone was like, oh, like I'm going to catch it if I go near this person or things like that. So yeah, nurses literally outside the door just drawing straws to see who had to go in there. And this was again at a time where AIDS cases were on the rise. There was like this epidemic happening, and they literally called AIDS gay cancer. That was like the name for it.
Terrible.
And by 1985, there were more than 20,000 cases worldwide. But Ruth was not undeterred by the red door. She was more, I feel like,
drawn to it.
And also, I think, just didn't understand the apprehension of the nurses.
Yeah.
And so she went into that room and went and sat with the man. She's like, he was frail. He was nearing death, weighing less than 100 pounds at the time. Like, he was at the very end of his life. And apparently the man was asking for his mom. And so she went out and she told the nurses, she's like, hey, can you call this guy's mom? Like, he really wants to talk to his mom and he wants his mom here. But they told her that his mom refused to come visit her dying son. And he'd essentially at this point just been abandoned by everyone. So Ruth, she went right back in that room and she sat with him for the next 13 hours and just sat by his side until he died.
Oh, God, I love her.
When he passed away, nobody would claim his remains. So Ruth personally paid for his cremation, had his ashes put into a cookie jar, and then brought them to her family's cemetery for a burial.
Wow.
And the reason that she has like a family cemetery, there's a really good backstory here because we've talked about spite houses before. But this was kind of like a spite cemetery in a sense. So Ruth's mom, I guess, had a gnarly feud with her brother, Ruth's uncle. And this was a cemetery that some of their family members had already been buried in. Well, her mom, because she was so pissed off at her brother, bought every single plot in the cemetery so that her brother and his family couldn't be buried there.
Shit.
Just crazy.
Damn.
And at this point in her life, Ruth had basically inherited pretty much an entire cemetery. So it was a no-brainer to her to give this man that she'd sat with a proper place to rest in peace.
Wow.
And I think what's really crazy to think about is like she was just like a straight white woman in Arkansas at the time. Like, she didn't have, you know, personal ties from what I've read to like the queer community or anything like that. It was just literally just being a normal human.
A normal human. Yeah.
Just being humane. This chance encounter with this man would go on to change her life forever. So after word got out that she had helped this man, Ruth began being contacted by other AIDS patients, and she showed up for them when nobody else would.
Wow. Wow.
A lot of people, mostly men, that had just been abandoned by their families, their churches, their friends. She met with them. She gave them company. She gave them compassion, and she provided them with respectable burials. And she kind of turned it into her life's mission, which like is truly like someone who's walking the walk. And that's
Absolutely.
like the shit that you always hear. And it's like, because there's a lot of groups out there, and that's my beef always with organized religion is like, yeah, you're loving until you're not. Like,
and you pick and choose and interpret things in a real fucking weird way.
Yeah, fully.
But then there's also some people that are beautiful and lovely and
just
we
and
love
actually
it.
walk the walk.
Yeah.
She turned it into her life's mission. She drove people to their doctor's appointments. She helped people find doctors. She even filled out death certificates for people after they'd passed. She did a lot of preemptive work as well. She went around to like popular cruising spots or gay nightclubs and handed out safe sex kits during this period. And she even, which I think is incredible, she kept a stockpile of different AIDS related medications in her pantry because there were some pharmacies in the area that were so backwards they refused to like even dispense the medications.
Fucking so wild to me.
She would go on to bury over 40 men in her cemetery, and according to my favorite quote from her that I saw in any of her interviews was, "Death and I got to be old friends."
I love her. She is iconic.
She is.
Take that, Anita.
Mm-hmm.
For her.
Yeah.
Pie in the face,
Bitch ass.
bitch.
Ruth did all of this selflessly while battling an outpouring of criticism from racists and bigots alike who not only threatened her, but literally she had the KKK show up to her house burning crosses on her lawn. Like, wild. But she didn't back down. And in her own words, when she was asked about this, she said, "I was dealing with a killer. I was dealing with AIDS. Why would I be threatened by someone burning a cross in my yard?"
Dude, she's a badass.
When the churches and so much of the community turned their backs on Ruth for her humanitarian work, you want to know who stepped the fuck up?
Who?
Drag queens.
Oh, love.
Local gay bars would host drag shows to raise money to help Ruth with her mission.
Fuck yeah. I have chills.
Isn't it crazy?
I
And
love it.
It's so just true. Like, I would trust a drag queen over
yes.
Yeah, y'all know what we're saying. Mm-hmm.
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 Drag queens don't want your fucking kids. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Freaks. You're sick
Weirdos.
for even thinking it. You know what I love is, remember when we got that review and it was like, "These clowns think drag queens assaulting people is something to be applauded," or something. Like, remember?
Yes, because it was a dumb-ass criminal.
But we loved it.
We loved it. They
Still
just
love
happened to be drag queens, and it was
Yes.
hilarious.
And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of her work drew in a lot of controversy, but it also brought in a lot of good press as well and PR. Ruth was responsible for bringing a lot of attention to the AIDS epidemic, especially in Middle America, because I think a lot of people just associated it with like the coast. But I mean, it was happening everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she was responsible for bringing a lot of attention in during the AIDS epidemic. And when the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, learned that the patients she was working with were living on average 2 years beyond the life expectancy of an AIDS patient at the time, they came out to like investigate what they were doing, what medications they were taking, and it ended up helping a lot of people.
So she's not only just a badass and all of that, but she really helped.
Yeah.
Wow.
Truly. In the 90s, the medical industry had a way better grasp on things, and things started to kind of not even out, but like stabilize a little bit. But Ruth continued her mission. She worked closely with President Bill Clinton as the White House consultant for AIDS education, and her last burial of an AIDS patient was in 1995.
Wow.
She worked a variety of jobs afterwards, including as a funeral director.
God love her. She's awesome.
In 2013, she served as an advocate for 3 foster children who were kicked out of a school for potentially being HIV positive. And once again, the local community, even in 2013, turned their backs on her. The funeral home that she'd been working with rescinded a standing job offer, and she had a hard time finding employment in the area afterwards. Since then, The media has highlighted Ruth numerous times for her work, especially in recent years. She wrote a memoir titled All the Young Men, which I really want to read. Mm-hmm. And Rose McGowan even wrote and directed a short film that was inspired by Ruth's work with AIDS patients. And today, she is a best-selling author, a motivational speaker, and continues her advocacy work. And I actually want to reach out and see if she will come on the show because I saw on her website she's done a bunch of podcasts. Ruth. So if this gets back to her, fingers crossed, we'll reach out. But yeah, I would love to talk to her on the show, just more about her work. Yeah, just a good human. She's still very much alive, still very much doing advocacy work.
Yeah, stories like that are really they're heartbreaking on one hand, but so motivational on the other, like you said in the beginning, restoring your faith in humanity.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it also just like always puts into perspective, like there's so many people out there doing just incredible work and maybe they're not being super recognized for it or something, but it's like there are good people at the end of the day. It's a good reminder too that it doesn't matter what you look like or if you're part of a certain group or whatever, like you could still you can help people and just be a good human because we live in the most divisive, gross time right now. And I'm just like I feel like everyone's so up their ass trying to prove a point or be like, no, I'm like this or I'm like this. And it's like, you can just be like a good fucking person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's it. So that is the story of Ruth.
Ruth, we love you, Ruth. We'd love to have you on the show.
Yes.
Wow, it would be an honor.
So we'll work on that. And you know what? We can assure you that we're always down to write an obituary for anyone whenever it would help.
Yes, we are. And you know what? I found probably one of the most creative obituaries I've seen to date.
That's a big one. That's a big claim.
One.
Let's hear it.
It is a big one. This is for Shannon L. Marshall. And it says, "A rock of refuge, an obituary in one act for Shannon L. Marshall." And the way it's written is like a play. So,
are there scenes?
Yes. So, scene. Two figures stand together behind a veil of ethereal wispy clouds. A woman is dressed in a beautiful white gown with a shawl of rainbow colors. The other woman in a simple white gown. The veil of clouds lifts as the scene opens. Okay, are we all here? We all see the vision?
We're seeing it.
God, welcome home, dear Shannon.
Oh, welcome home, dear Shannon.
Do you wanna play God? Actually,
I would love to.
Or actually, can you play Shannon?
No, I should be God.
But God has the better.
No wonder.
It's my obituary.
Like house. Like, okay. Well, actually, I'll be the mom, and then you can be the nanny.
Okay, you be God.
Welcome home, dear Shannon.
Is this heaven?
Yes, my child. You have many people here looking forward to seeing you. Your father Robert, mother Jean, grandparents, aunts and uncles, nephew Eddie, stepmother Jean, and many others.
When can I see them?
First, we have to do our intake. You know, review the ledger balance, if you will.
Dear me.
This is me bringing forth a large 3-ring binder. Well, let's pick up. When you were president of the Regional Youth Council for the Disciples of Christ Church, it appears that you left due to a bit of cannabis?
Well, I did grow up in New Mexico in the 70s.
Actually, I am hoping to myself that the legislator legalizes the good herb this year, so we'll just call this one even.
Next, we have a thick chapter. Oh, no, that's God. Go.
She won't let me have it. She won't let me have it. Next, we have a thick chapter about your early acting career in Albuquerque. Quite a lot in here, but I see you actually played me once in Dance with the Prime Mover. Perhaps some blasphemous parts in there, but you get extra points since you got such great reviews. And then what do you have to say about the production of Equus? Where you hired protesters to picket your own show to protest against the nudity?
Smiles mischievously. That did help sell out the show.
I suppose that's all in good fun. And then later in Flint, where you directed and produced Children of a Lesser God with the Michigan School for the Deaf? You certainly earned points on the plus side of the ledger for that important production. Due to the merits of that play, I think we can overlook some shenanigans with Stephanie.
You can see everything, right?
Yes, let's just keep moving and open the thickest chapter. Shannon with Liz, Suki, and other girlfriends.
Oy vey, are you sure you really want to see everything?
Yes, Shannon, but let's just dig in. Certainly some, colorful stories in this chapter. I think I can address some of these when I see Suki and Liz. Some serious good deeds will be required from the three of you to even the scales a bit, but I actually want to recognize what you did for your friends and their families. Many times you were their rock of refuge during times of crisis, and you should know they are all eternally grateful for your love and care. Now, let's take a look at this important chapter with your husband, Geoff. It is Geoff. You had many adventures in those years, more than many people have in lifetimes. You each knew this wasn't your first life together, and I suspect this won't be the last. Geoff wants you to know... I can't say Geoff. Geoff wants you to know that he loves you still and that he is sorry.
We loved greatly.
There are many hearts on earth that miss you deeply. Brother John, Brother Bob and wife Susan, and their children Jennifer and her husband Jim, Robert Marshall III and his wife Emily, Ulysses, Suzanne and her husband Randy, step-siblings Kimber and Devin, godson Raphael, Michaela and your husband, Geoff.
Place his hand on Shannon's head.
Shannon, your place in heaven is now secured, your pains washed away, your sorrows lifted. Please come now to see those who await. Oh, and when you get to the eternal all-you-can-eat buffet, you'll find that some of the most popular dishes are your recipes. It's in my authority to steal them. Fade to black. We said we wanted to be on Broadway, and he said, what do y'all think?
Well, that was a real obituary.
I love that.
Like, as a play, and it gave all of her life details, and I just love it.
I love that. I love that so much.
So, what, you get to read another one now?
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you got?
Okay, I actually have one from a Geoff, and they said, hey, Spencer and Madison, I've been a big fan of the podcast from the beginning. Unfortunately, I have the pleasure of sharing my mother's obituary.
Oh.
So sorry.
So sorry.
She was the best mom and my best friend. She was a beautiful person, and I'm so grateful that I've gotten the chance to call her my mom.
Oh.
She was a fun and amazing woman and cared and loved so many. Feel free, even if you're not able to read on the pod, I'm still glad you were able to read this. Love your cult babe and Geoff, Sarah. You can use our names.
Sarah.
Okay, and I love this obituary so much. Here's her cutie mom.
Oh my God.
And
what a cutie. That's so pretty. All the flowers in the background.
I know. Julie, age 65, of Fort Wayne, Indiana, passed away on Friday, April 18th, 2025, at Parkview Rendalia Hospital. Born on July 29th, 1959 in San Antonio, Texas, she was the daughter of the late Jack and Linda, who survives. On June 30th, 1979, Julie married Stephen. Together, they spent the next 45 years building a life and watching their family grow. Julie was a dedicated mother to her 9 children and a loving grandmother to all her grandchildren. She enjoyed baking so much that she even operated her own bakery. She also enjoyed reading a good book, sitting in the sunshine, and spending time with her grandkids. Julie's interests, which we'll love, were very eclectic and included her love of WWE,
love,
Taylor Swift,
love,
true crime, and paranormal television shows.
Hell yeah, Julie.
She had a great sense of humor, which she passed down to her children. Julie's faith was important to her, and she was devout in her beliefs. She was a member of St. Jude Catholic Church and was an active volunteer with the script program and also a classroom helper. Left to cherish her memory are her husband, children, you know, all the people, and then it gives her information. But I just feel like I love that her range goes from WWE to Taylor Swift to true crime and paranormal television
That
shows.
is a well-rounded woman.
That is an icon. So thank you again, Sarah, for sharing your sweet mom's obituary with
Sarah,
us.
thank you so much, and we're so sorry for your loss, and she does sound like just the best.
Alrighty, well, we've spun in our coffins.
We've bitched our obituaries.
It's time for some dumb
Ass
criminals. Who you got?
I have one from last month, April 8th, 2025. I'm going to read the smoking gun one, but this is documented all over every news outlet. It says, "Sir, this is an Applebee's. A drunk man wearing a pink wig, fake breasts, and a pink thong, was arrested Friday evening for causing a disturbance outside the chain restaurant.
Oh.
Where concerned diners had their eaten good in the neighborhood disrupted. Cops say Daniel Cirello, 49, was so intoxicated that he was unable to provide for his own safety and well-being as he was stumbling around the Applebee's parking lot in Clearwater, Florida.
Oh.
The extremely disoriented Cirello tried to enter a vehicle that did not belong to him, cops reported. When questioned by deputies, he was unable to answer basic questions such as where he was, where he came from, and what state he was in. An arrest report does not offer further details about his clothing, but he was arrested for disorderly intoxication and booked into the county jail, where he had to change into an orange outfit from his pink wig, fake boobs, and pink thong. Following a night in jail, he was freed from custody, but he's ordered to pay a total of $570 in fines. And here he is. But I can't find the picture of him in his wig.
Not what I expected.
Yeah, I know. Oh, who do you have?
Okay, so I have a Florida man.
Okay.
And this happened back in 2019. And I'm going to read you this article from the New York Post. It says, a Florida man pelted his girlfriend in the head and face area with sweet and sour sauce packets on Sunday.
Okay.
Because he was angry that she bought the wrong food from McDonald's, a felony battery complaint said. Jesus Ferrer Jr. attacked his girlfriend, with whom he has a child, in the couple's motel room in Tampa. A struggle ensued, and Ferrer allegedly pinned his girlfriend to the ground and placed his palm on her face and pressed her head into the ground using his body weight, which prompted the woman to rip off part of his beard, according to the complaint.
Good for her.
Good for her. Yeah, fucking come at me. You say goodbye to your beard.
Yeah.
He fled the motel, but he was arrested and booked into the Pasco County Jail on charge of felony battery. And he was charged with battery earlier this year involving the same woman at another motel, the report said. He pleaded no contest to the misdemeanor charge and was sentenced to time served and paid $750 in fine. But still had money, I guess. He still had McDonald's and motel money. Oh, just a dumbass.
God,
well, speaking of food, our food just got delivered. I see the door.
Yummy. Let's go eat.
So we got to go eat, but we'll be back next week. Don't you worry. For some more coffin spinners.
And obituaries.
And dumb
ass criminals.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.